Hey there, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about the quality planning process for project management. This is our agenda. So first we'll cover what the definition of quality is. We'll look at how you can grade and look at the difference between the quality. Then we'll look at some of the quality planning tools. And then we'll get into quality assurance. So let's look at the definition of quality. So during the execution phase of the project, services and products are sampled and measured to determine if the quality is within control limits for the requirements and to analyze causes for variations. This evaluation is often done by a separate quality control group, and knowledge of a few process measurement terms is necessary to understand their reports. Several of these terms are similar, and it is valuable to know the distinction between them. The quality plan specifies the control limits of the product or process. The size of the range between those limits is often called the tolerance. Tolerances are often written as the mean value, which is plus or minus the tolerance. For those that have worked for DTI in the past, you've likely gone out and done quality inspections to make sure that the work that the contractors are doing is completed as per the contract guidelines. Sometimes, as a project manager, you're going to look outside and hire an engineering firm that has expertise in specific areas of measurement, and you will bring those into you'll hire those services, and you will make sure that those individuals are looking at the contractor's work to make sure that the work that the contractor is doing is up to the quality of the contract. According to the International Organization for Standardization, so usually you see this ISO or ISO, quality is the degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirements. The requirements of a product or process can be categorized or given a grade that will provide a basis for comparison. The quality is determined by how well something meets the requirements of its grade. For most people, the term quality also implies good value, getting your money's worth, for example. A low-grade product should still work as expected, be safe to use, and last a reasonable amount of time. Petroleum refiners provide gasoline in several different grades based on the octane rating, because higher octane ratings are suitable for higher compression engines. Gasoline must not be contaminated with dirt or water, and the actual performance of the fuel must be close to its octane rating. A shipment of low-grade gasoline graded as 87 octane that is free of water or other contaminants should be of high quality, while a shipment of high-grade 93 octane gas that is contaminated with dirt should be of low quality. And this is just an example. So John has antique furniture in excellent condition that was left to him by his grandmother. The pieces are important to John for sentimental reasons, and they are valuable. John decides to hire movers, so high-grade professionals, to load his furniture into the truck using appropriate padding and restraints to prevent dents and scratches during the move. John's standard for high quality is that no observable damage occurs to his large pieces of furniture, especially the antiques. If the furniture arrives in his new apartment without a single dent, scratch, or other damage, the activity will be of high quality. John's standards for packing his kitchen is lower. His dishes are old and cheap, so he decides to trust his inexperienced friends to help him pack his kitchen. If a few of these dishes or glasswares are chipped or broken in the process, the savings in labor costs will more than make up for the loss and will be of good value. So in this example, high quality individuals such as the movers prevents your valuables from being broken, but in some circumstances, it may be worthwhile to go for a lower quality contractor such as your friends that can go out and move things without, can move things, but even though the risk of breaking things might be higher, but the quality of your goods is lower. Planning for quality is part of the initial planning process. The early scope, budget, and schedule estimates are used to identify processes, services, or products where the expected grade and quality should be specified. Risk analysis is used to determine which of the risks to the project should affect quality. Several different tools and techniques are available for planning and controlling the quality of a project. The extent to which these tools are used is determined by the project complexity and the quality management program and use by the client. The following represents the quality planning tools available to the project manager. The first is cost-benefit analysis, which is looking at how much your quality activities will cost versus how much you will gain from doing them. The costs are easy to measure. The effort and resources it takes to do them are just like any other task on your schedule. Since quality activities don't actually produce a product, it is sometimes harder for people to measure the benefit. The main benefits are less reworking, higher productivity and efficiency, and more satisfaction for both the team and the customer. Benchmarking means using the results of quality planning on other projects to set goals for your own. Benchmarks can give you some reference points for judging your own project before you even start the work. Cost of quality is what you get when you add the cost of all the prevention and inspection activities you are going to do on your project. And finally, control charts can be used to define acceptable limits. If some of the functions for a project are repetitive, statistical process controls can be used to identify trends and keep the processes within control limits. Control charts are generally used in manufacturing, and same with cost of quality. Right? These are usually manufacturing terms, and you may go into manufacturing after you graduate, so these should be of known ideas to you. The purpose of quality assurance is to create confidence that the quality plan and controls are working properly. Time must be allocated to review the original quality plan and compare that plan to how quality is being ensured during the implementation of the project. The purpose of quality assurance is to build confidence in the client that quality standards and procedures are being followed. This is done by internal review of the plan, testing or revision policies, or by an audit of the same items performed by an external group or agency. Typically within, say, a construction project, your quality assurance might be done by a third party, such as another design firm or an engineering firm. You will likely ask for the frequency of how often these checks are being done. Typically, as a technologist, you may be one of these individuals being hired to go look at the quality of the work being done. So ensuring that you understand what level of quality is being asked, the frequency, the materials that you should be testing. These are really important steps to understanding the total overall quality assurance. This was a relatively short chapter. Really, we went over the purpose of quality management, which, if summarized, is really building confidence in clients that quality standards and procedure are being followed. And we also looked at really ensure by looking at the internal review of a plan, testing, looking at policies and external review or audits. Again, if you have any questions, please just reach out and email me. We're going to go into kind of an example of what you might see for requirements and quality. This is an example that I've used in several of the previous PowerPoints, which is the Green Oasis Park. So for requirements and quality of this park, so in the last PowerPoint, we looked at issuing an RFP. And now if we look at some of the quality metrics that we're going to be looking for, so with the landscape design, for example, the requirement that we want is a well thought out landscape design that incorporates native plants and trees, pathways, and seating areas. The quality that we want for this, we want to make sure the landscape design plans are certified by a landscaper, potentially an architect, to ensure compliance with local regulations and aesthetic appeal. A big thing now is not mixing plants that are, say, non-native and incorporating pathogens and allergies and also invasive species in an area. So having someone review and making sure that what we're actually going to be putting in this park is acceptable for the long-term growth and health of the community. For safety measures, the requirement is implementation of safety measures, including appropriate lighting, signage, and emergency contact information. This would be throughout the park. And for our quality review, while this is being ongoing, regular safety inspections conducted by certified safety professionals to ensure that all safety measures are in place and operational. Generally, this is done by something in a park, for example. Usually if you're going to be putting in a lighting system or a playground system, usually you would have a tradesman that is certified in that type of work. So you would have a certified Red Seal electrician to ensure that the lighting all works and that all work that's being done is being signed off. For something like a playground, again, you're going to be bringing in likely a company that has that background and that has, say, an insurance policy that if something were to break or someone to hurt themselves, that you could actually approach this company and if you had to go through litigation or something like that, that they have the insurance to cover that. Some of the other options or some of the other requirements in quality, if we looked at something like the playground equipment, so the requirement is asking for the installation of modern and safe playground equipment for children of various ages. We look at what we wanted for the quality. We want to inspect the playground equipment by an independent safety organization to certify its compliance with safety standards. Having actually gone through and installed playground equipment in the past and previous projects, there are very few companies that actually deal with playground equipment. Usually it is up to some sort of installer to build it. There actually aren't too many rules around playground equipment. There's some general CSA rules, but in your future use, if you're going to be putting in playground equipment, just realize that you will likely be the one that's liable after it's being installed. We look at sustainable features, so incorporating sustainable features such as water-saving irrigation, energy-efficient lighting, and waste recycling stations. If we were to do a quality review of that, we might assess the environmental consultant to confirm adherence to sustainable practices and evaluate the park's environmental impact. So for each requirement that we might have, so there's a design of something, we might have several requirements. To check on those requirements, we can lay out the quality that we want or that reflection of that quality piece of each requirement, and that helps us build out our quality management plan. And finally, with community engagement, we have regular community engagement programs and events within the park to foster community involvement. The quality review is assessment of community feedback and attendance at events to measure community engagement and satisfaction. So this process of putting something out, and again, we have a process to make sure that the things are actually working that we're going to be doing. And so I have a couple practice questions in this presentation. If you'd like to check them out, please look at the PowerPoint up on Brightspace.